welcome to my channel. It's Joanna here. Today I'm going to go through a quick tutorial for crow pose. So this video is for anyone starting their journey with arm balances, but also anyone who wants to review their alignment perhaps and go back to basics. So let's get started. Now, first things first, before you start playing with any arm balances, you want to make sure that you warm up well. So unless you did a practice right before and then your body is already warmed up, you want to go in and give it a go and try at the end, perfect. But if you're just coming in and just want to practice it, it's important to warm up your wrists, your hands, your upper body, your core as well. So start in an all fours, knees under hips, place the tops of your feet on the mat, gently press them into the mat and open up your palms nice and wide. Start with circling in and around your wrists. Feel free to pause at any point where you might feel a little bit of extra tightness. Change direction. So taking a few of those here and feel free to make your warm up as long as you need. And then turn your fingers out towards the long edges of the mat, moving side to side. And maybe turning your fingers in to face your knees. And gently moving your body weight back towards your heels, feeling it's a bit more intense of a stretch here. And then slowly come back center, come back again. Come back center. If this is too much, just go back to one of the previous stretches and slowly come back. And if you can, stay in this pose. If not, turn your fingers out to face top of the mat. But as you can, let's go into a few cat-to-cows in this hand position. Breathing in to draw your belly button down, arching through your lower back, opening your chest forwards, gazing forwards or up. Exhale, round down through your spine, tuck your chin, tailbone under, press through your hands and tops of your feet and knees into the mat. Inhale to open again. So you can take a few of those here. And then slowly come back center. Turn your fingers out to face forwards. And now bring your fingers closer together. So bring them closer together. Now breathe in to lift the heel of your right hand onto the mat, pressing your fingers into the mat. Take it down, release, switch sides. And again, one side might feel a little bit more flexible than the other, and that's quite normal. And then slowly release, switch again. So try and do at least twice on each side. And if single feels good, maybe do two hands together. It's a little bit more intense. If you're doing singles, switch sides. If you're doing doubles, stay here, maybe shifting your body weight a little bit more forward. And then slowly release the heels of your hands down. Now flip your right palm and press the back of your hand onto the mat. And this stretch can feel quite uncomfortable, so but it's really good for any arm balances, but any yoga classes where you have a lot of planks, switch, and chaturangas. So it's nice to do that, especially if you feel like your wrists get tired very quickly. And then switch again. So doing twice on each side at least. And again, staying with single or doing two hands together. Again, this might feel quite intense, so go back to singles if needed. If you're doing singles, switch sides. If you're doing doubles, maybe shifting your body weight slightly back. And then slowly come back and release. You can sit back into your child's pose, knees out wide, big toes together, stretching your arms forwards and maybe come up onto your fingertips into this active child's pose, actively stretching your Fingertips forwards, and then gently drawing your forehead down towards the mat. Breathing in, breathing out. Now pop your hands onto the mat. Come back into a tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Now press your hands into the mat. And I want you to press and separate out your shoulder blades and finding a little bit more space in between your shoulder blades, rounding your upper back slightly. Press through your toes, engage your core, press through your hands and elevate your knees off the mat. So just an inch or two. You don't have to go too high. And then hold your eye gaze towards the top of your mat. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep your knees directly underneath your hips. Taking 2 more deep breaths. This one nicely activates your core. 1 more. Inhale, exhale, push back into your downward dog. You can pedal out your feet. Invite some movement here. Take a few more breaths here. And then rip it forwards into your plank. Pressing the mat away, engaging through your core, pulling onto your kneecaps. Nice and strong plank pose. Hold. Breathe in, breathe out. And you can take a couple of rounds here of your high plank pose. Feel free to drop onto your knees as needed. And then maybe drop onto your elbows. So go into an elbow plank or low plank. Press your palms and your forearms, elbows into the mat. Again, separate out your shoulder blades. Head and neck neutral and hold. And then slowly, slowly release. So you can take a few of those high plank, 3 rounds, low plank, as in on your forearms. And you'll feel that your body is nice and warm. Your upper body is nicely warmed up. Your core is nicely activated. And this will all help in your attempt. All right. So let's get started in your positioning. So the most important thing for when starting or attempting any pose is whether it's a standing pose or an arm balance, is your base. So in your standing pose, that's your feet. And in your arm balance, that's your hands. So the stronger the base, the stronger the pose, the more controlled, the more balanced the pose. Very, very important. So we have 3 things to talk about when talking about base, aka your hands in your crow pose. So first of all, you want your base to be nice and stable. The bigger the base, the more stable it is. So I want you to open up your palms nice and wide. The closer your hands are, or your fingers rather, the closer your fingers are, the less base, the weaker the base. The more open, the stronger the base, and it's easier to balance. So that's the first cue for this pose. So second thing is the activation through your hands, through your fingers. So when you pop your hands on the mat, don't just drop your hands down or flop them down onto the mat. Imagine as if you're gripping the mat. So really press down through your fingers, nice and strong, and keeping that connection throughout the pose really, really strongly. So imagine someone coming up to you in that pose and trying to lift your fingers. They shouldn't be able to lift them or move them. Now, the third thing is your hand position. So you want your index fingers to face forwards and you want your thumbs to face each other. Your wrist directly in line with your shoulders, not too wide and not too close. So your hands are gently turning out, just slightly, but then your elbows are slightly turning in. So you always want the crease of your elbows to face forwards. All right, so 3 things to remember about your base, and then we can move into just slightly shifting your body weight forwards and back and trying to get into our crow pose. So one thing to remember about a crow pose or a lot of arm balances is that upper body strength is not necessarily the main driver here. It's not super important. What is important is the distribution of, or the control of the distribution of your body weight. So if you distribute your body weight correctly, it shouldn't be as hard to lift yourself up and float. So let me explain. We're going to start with just positioning your knees. Normally in a yoga class, you would go into your crow pose from Malasana, from your wide-legged yogic squat. We're not going to do that today. We're going to look for the easiest position to get into this pose first, and then we can move from other asanas a little bit more smoothly. So, thinking of your base always. So, popping your hands down, index fingers facing forwards, your thumbs facing each other, wrists, shoulders with distance apart. Press actively through your fingers, pressing the mat away. It's a nice and strong base. Now from here, you can bring your heels up and your feet as close as your hips or maybe a little bit closer. And then from here, your knees are outside your arms and you want your knees as high up, as close to the back of your triceps as possible. So this is what we're going to start with. So press your hands, gently lift your knees so that they reach towards the backs of your triceps onto the outside of your arms, and find connection of the inside of your knees, your thighs, with the backs of your arms. So I want you to really squeeze your knees or your arms with your knees, but then at the same time, your arms are pushing in towards your knees or inner thighs as well. So keeping that connection there will help you to navigate the movement and control it a little bit better. You'll also feel that once you squeeze your knees towards the backs of your arms, you'll feel your core activating a little bit more. We're going to need core activation here as well. So again, it's super, super important and it helps in this asana. So let's try. Press your hands into the mat. Bring your knees up as high as you can onto the backs of your arms. Squeeze your knees in, keep your elbows in, and eye gaze forward. So eye gaze towards the top of your mat. So as I mentioned, distribution of your weight is more important than your upper body strength, and it is true for crow pose for sure. So making sure you have all the basics correct, you can then start to shift your body weight forwards onto your hands and gently shifting your elbows directly above your wrists. Shift forwards and then come back. Important enough is to keep your chin up. Keep looking towards the top of your mat. If you look down, you'll more likely than not drop down. So keep lifting through your chest and look up and gently shift your body weight forward. So it's more about trusting yourself and your confidence than your body strength per se. So let's try that again. Squeezing your knees towards the outside of your arms, upper arms, and gently shifting your body weight forwards. And then once you're here, your core is nicely activated. You're looking straight ahead. Maybe lift your right toes up, lower down. Maybe lift your left toes up, lower down, and then come back. Take a little breather, take a child's pose, and come back again. So you can take this drill few times before we actually go into the pose. You can even take a little video of yourself as well, just so you know whether your alignment is correct, especially if you are a beginner. Sometimes you're not sure whether the alignment is correct, but when you take a picture or video, and then you'll know whether you're in the correct alignment. Okay, so let's try again. This time we'll try to lift. So you take a few drills, squeezing your knees in, looking forwards, maybe lifting your right toes, maybe lifting your left toes, and maybe bring your big toes together and bring your heels close to your glutes. And then slowly, slowly relax. Child's pose. Relax and soften. So, taking a few of those, again, you don't need to float straight away. Taking a few warm-up sessions, taking a few drills before you go into and actually lift both feet off the mat. It does take time, so be kind to your body, be patient with your body, and give yourself some grace. Now, a little help from blocks, if you have blocks at home or anything to elevate your feet on, like a thick book, can also help. If you feel like your bum is too low and you can't really lift and elevate too high, you can also use a block and place your feet on your block and then move from here. As you can see, your hips are already higher. And then it makes it a little bit easier to lift up from here. If you're afraid to fall down on your face, which is fair, you can use a cushion. So have it just lay down in front of you so it's not as sore if you fall down. Okay, so that's it for me. If you have any questions at all, feel free to pop them in the comments. Feel free to send me an email. If any of this was useful to you particularly, feel free to share it with me in the comments or via email. So happy floating. I hope you do find it useful. And one more thing, really, really important, is that you are taking your time. Everything takes time. So be patient, and yoga is never about getting into a particular pose, but it is more so about the journey, what you learn about yourself, rather than getting into a pose, which can be quite nice when you do get to it eventually. But keep that in mind. Sending love, guys. Hope you enjoy your practice and good luck with your crow pose. Namaste.